so in this video, I'm going to do the activities that we were going to do in the respiratory system. First thing we were going to do was forced vital capacity. I have this little bag that measures how much air a person is able to blow out. To do forced vital capacity, you have to take a big deep breath in and then blow out as much as you possibly can in one breath. So the goal is to try to inflate the bag. So give me just a second and I will show you how to do it. All right, so next, what I've got to do is push all the air down so that I could see how much I actually used to fill up the bag. And I blew 3.2 liters. Now, vital capacity changes based on the health and fitness of the person. It changes based on how tall a person is, what sex the person is. There's several different factors that can play a role in there. But for a person of my age, 3.2 liters is actually a little bit above what the average is. 3.2 liters is more average for what a college age girl would do. And it decreases, the forced vital capacity tends to decrease as you get older. I wish that you guys would be able to do this test too. Maybe we'll get to meet again eventually and do it. The other thing that we were supposed to do in this respiratory system chapter is some breath holding exercises. And the reason that we do this is to show you how your body actually measures what controls your respiratory rate. And one of the things that I mentioned in a previous video was that your respiratory rate is controlled by the amount of carbon dioxide in your bloodstream, by the pH of your bloodstream, and oxygen is a tertiary thing that can be measured but usually isn't used to control your respiratory rate. So what I'm going to have you guys do is, without any practice or anything, you're just going to hold your breath for as long as you can, and you're going to time how long you can hold your breath on average. After that, what I'm going to have you do is intentionally hyperventilate yourself for 30 seconds and then try to hold your breath again. And the reason that we're doing this, if you think back to what hyperventilation was, you breathe really fast in excess of what your body actually needs at this time. And what that does is it flushes excess CO2 out of your system. What that's going to allow most people to do is hold your breath for a longer period of time after your hyperventilation. So after you hyperventilate for 30 seconds, you're then going to hold your breath again, and you should be able to last longer this way than you did in the first round. I will tell you that before you do this exercise, if at any point you feel lightheaded, dizzy, or just sick, just put your head down and stop doing the activity, because I'm not about having you guys pass out while you're doing this. But I also wanted to give you guys some theory and some examples that are behind this. So there's a sport that's called free diving. Right before these athletes go in for a free dive, they will hyperventilate on the ship prior to going down. Now, a free dive is without any excess air or snorkels or anything. They dive down into the ocean as deep as they possibly can and then back up on one breath. By hyperventilating before they do that, they're able to dive down deeper and back up on one breath, because you can hold your breath for longer after hyperventilation. The other example is more of a natural example. For whales that dive deep to go get prey items, they also don't breathe in before they dive. They breathe out before they dive deep. That also plays around with buoyancy issues, but they do it so they can stay down for longer periods of time. If you've never hyperventilated before, you're going to, on purpose, kind of look stupid, but you're just going to breathe really fast and a little bit deeper than normal for that 30 seconds. So it's going to look something like this. But do that for 30 seconds. And then when you're done with that, hold your breath, and you should be able to do it for longer. So the breath holding, that's the first couple of questions that are in the quiz for chapter 22 that you're going to have to answer. So you're going to be telling me on that quiz how long you were able to hold your breath, and then why you should have been able to hold your breath longer the second time around. I will give you guys some numbers right now for the forced vital capacity, since you don't actually get to do it. You can use me as female 1, so I blew 3.2 liters. I just did this in another class prior to the whole COVID-19 outbreak, and one of the girls in that class blew a 1.8 liter. She was a smoker and she was very short. The guys, I had a guy who blew 2.8 liters, and then I had another guy who blew 4.6 liters. So use those numbers to help you graph your data, and then once you have graphed your data and answered all the questions, you're going to submit that quiz to me. I will give you a side note on Chris, the example that's underneath the table. His whole problem is not about a kinked hose. His problem goes back to how your respiratory rate gets controlled and how those signals end up getting sent to the diaphragm and things. So keep that in mind as you answer all the questions. Good luck.